First contact, humanity meets the Zarkonian Empire. The vast emptiness of space shimmered as the sleek Zarkonian battlecruiser dropped out of hyperspace on the outskirts of Earth's solar system. Captain Vexkar, a towering figure with iridescent scales and piercing amber eyes, surveyed the scene before him with a mixture of curiosity and disdain. "Sensors, report," he commanded, his voice a low rumble that reverberated through the bridge. "Sir, we've detected a primitive space station orbiting the third planet," replied his subordinate, fingers dancing across a holographic interface. "No signs of advanced weaponry or defenses." Vexkar's mouth curled into what passed for a smile among his species. As expected, these humans are barely more than animals. Hail their pathetic excuse for a government. Let's see what sort of reception we receive. Aboard the International Space Station, astronaut Sarah Chen floated weightlessly, her eyes wide with wonder as she gazed out at the alien vessel that had suddenly appeared. Its massive form dwarfed anything humanity had ever constructed, gleaming like a jewel against the backdrop of stars. "Houston, are you seeing this?" she breathed, her voice barely above a whisper. "Affirmative, ISS," came the tense reply from Mission Control. "All nations are on high alert. Stand by for further instructions." Before Sarah could respond, a blinding light engulfed the space station. When it faded, she found herself standing in what could only be described as the bridge of the alien ship. Surrounding her were creatures unlike anything she'd ever imagined, tall, reptilian beings with scales that shimmered in impossible colors. "Welcome aboard, human," rumbled a deep voice. Sarah turned to face its source, an imposing figure seated on what appeared to be a command chair. "I am Captain Vexkar of the Zarkonian Empire. Your planet now falls under our protection and rule." Sarah straightened her back, years of training kicking in despite the surreal situation. "I'm astronaut Sarah Chen of Earth. We have no quarrel with your people, but we won't simply submit to an alien rule. Our world has its own governments and autonomy." A chorus of hissing laughter echoed through the bridge. Vexkar's eyes narrowed. Bold words for such a primitive species. "You have no concept of the power we wield. Your pathetic defenses would crumble in seconds if we chose to strike." "Then why haven't you?" Sarah challenged, her heart racing but her voice steady. "If conquest was your goal, you could have attacked without warning. The fact that you are talking to us suggests you want something else." Vexkar leaned forward, studying Sarah with newfound interest. "Perceptive for a human. You're correct. Annihilating your species would be simple, but wasteful. The Empire always seeks to expand its workforce. Your kind will make adequate servants and laborers." Sarah's mind raced, knowing her next words could determine the fate of humanity. "Captain, I think you're underestimating us. Humans may not have your level of technology, but we're far from simple beasts. We've achieved incredible things in a short span of time. Give us a chance to prove our worth as potential allies, not slaves." The alien captain was silent for a long moment, his unblinking gaze fixed on Sarah. Finally, he spoke. "You intrigue me, human. Perhaps there is more to your species than we initially believed. I will grant you one planetary rotation to prepare a delegation. They will be brought aboard to negotiate terms of your integration into the Empire." With another flash of light, Sarah found herself back on the ISS, gasping for breath as if she'd run a marathon. "Chen, what happened? You disappeared for nearly 10 minutes. Her crewmate's panicked voice came through the comm. Sarah steadied herself against a handrail. "Get me a direct line to the UN Security Council. We have less than 24 hours to save Earth." The next day dawned with a mixture of fear and anticipation unlike anything humanity had ever experienced. News of the alien arrival had spread like wildfire, causing equal parts panic and wonder across the globe. Governments scrambled to present a united front, setting aside long-standing rivalries in the face of this unprecedented situation. As the appointed hour approached, a carefully selected delegation gathered in a hastily prepared chamber of the United Nations headquarters in New York. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, Earth's leading xenobiologist, adjusted her collar nervously. Beside her stood General Zhang Wei of China's Space Force, his face an impassive mask. Rounding out the core team were Dr. Kwame Osei, a brilliant linguist and anthropologist, and Ambassador Yuki Tanaka, known for her unflappable demeanor in high-stakes negotiations. A hush fell over the room as a shimmering portal materialized. Captain Vexcar stepped through, flanked by two guards whose biomechanical armor made them look more machine than alien. Sarah Chen followed, her presence a reassuring link between the two species. "Greetings, representatives of Earth," Vexcar's voice boomed, aided by some unseen translation technology. "I trust you've had sufficient time to contemplate your situation." Ambassador Tanaka stepped forward, bowing slightly. "Captain, we thank you for this opportunity to dialogue. We hope to demonstrate that humanity has much to offer as potential allies rather than subjects." Vexcar's scales rippled in what might have been amusement. Bold words. "Yet I see no evidence of technology that could possibly be of use to the Empire. What exactly do you propose?" Dr. Rodriguez cleared her throat. "If I may, Captain, while our spacecraft may seem primitive compared to yours, humans have made remarkable advancements in biotechnology and medicine. Our ability to adapt to various environments and overcome biological challenges could be invaluable in your exploration of new worlds." The alien captain's interest seemed piqued. "Intriguing. And what of your military capabilities? The Empire values strength above all." General Zhang stepped forward. "Our weapons may not match yours in raw power, but human tactics and strategy have evolved through centuries of conflict. We excel at asymmetrical warfare and adapting to seemingly insurmountable odds. This mindset could provide fresh perspectives to your military operations." Vexcar's tail lashed back and forth as he considered their words. "Pretty speeches, but words alone are not enough to sway the Empire. We require proof of your supposed talents." Dr. Osei spoke up, his voice calm but passionate. "Captain, if you'll allow it, we propose a series of challenges. Tests that will demonstrate humanity's problem-solving abilities, adaptability, and potential value to your Empire. Give us the opportunity to show rather than simply tell." For a tense moment, the alien leader was silent. Then, to everyone's surprise, he let out a booming laugh. "Very well, humans. You've piqued my curiosity. I will grant you 3 solar cycles. In that time, you will face trials of my choosing. Should you impress me, we may reconsider your status within the Empire." As quickly as they had arrived, the aliens vanished, leaving the human delegation in stunned silence. Ambassador Tanaka was the first to speak. "Well," she said, a hint of a smile playing at her lips, "it seems we have our work cut out for us. Let's show these Zarkonians what humanity is truly capable of." The next 3 days were a whirlwind of activity as Earth's brightest minds were called upon to prepare for the unknown challenges ahead. Research labs worked around the clock, military strategists debated potential scenarios, and diplomats attempted to glean any additional information about Zarkonian culture and expectations. On the morning of the first challenge, the chosen representatives gathered once again, a palpable tension in the air. This time, they were transported directly to the alien ship, finding themselves in a vast chamber that seemed to defy the laws of physics, its boundaries shifting and changing before their eyes. Captain Vexcar's voice echoed through the space. "Your first trial begins now. Before you lies a puzzle of energy and matter, a lock that guards the Empire's most valuable technologies. You have 1 planetary rotation to decipher its workings and open the path forward. Failure will result in unpleasant consequences for your world." As the aliens' presence faded, the humans found themselves facing a swirling vortex of light and shadow, complex patterns dancing in midair. Dr. Rodriguez immediately began taking readings with her equipment, while Dr. Osei studied the shifting symbols for any linguistic patterns. Hours passed as the team worked feverishly, each bringing their unique expertise to bear on the problem. General Zhang's tactical mind proved unexpectedly useful in recognizing larger patterns within the chaos. Ambassador Tanaka, drawing on her knowledge of game theory, proposed a novel approach to interpreting the puzzle's logic. Just when it seemed they had reached an impasse, Sarah Chen made a breakthrough. "Look," she exclaimed, pointing to a recurring sequence. "It's not just a lock, it's a key. The puzzle is teaching us how to solve itself." With renewed energy, the team redoubled their efforts. As the final hours ticked away, they input the solution they had painstakingly deciphered. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing happened. Then, with a sound like 1,000 wind chimes, the vortex coalesced into a shimmering doorway. Captain Vexkar materialized, his expression unreadable. "Impressive," he grudgingly admitted. "You've passed the first trial. But do not celebrate yet. 2 more challenges await, each more difficult than the last." As the humans caught their breath, a seed of hope began to blossom. They had taken the first step towards proving humanity's worth to the stars. The real test, however, was yet to come. The human ambassador, David Chen's unexpected journey. The gleaming spires of Zarkon Prime pierced the amber sky, a testament to the advanced civilization that had brought humanity to its knees. Yet amidst the towering alien architecture, a lone human figure stood tall, his shoulders squared and chin raised in defiance of the curious and often hostile stares that followed him. David Chen, newly appointed ambassador to the Zarkonian Empire, strode purposefully through the bustling alien metropolis. His appointment had been controversial, a last-ditch effort by Earth's unified government to establish a diplomatic foothold in the wake of their near subjugation. At 35, David was younger than most will expect for such a critical role, but his unparalleled gift for languages and cultural adaptation had made him the clear choice. "Ambassador Chen," a melodious voice chimed in his earpiece, the translation software working overtime. "Your presence is required at the Imperial Convergence Chamber." David acknowledged the summons, his heart racing despite his outward calm. This was it, his first true test in navigating the labyrinthine politics of the Zarkonian court. As he approached the imposing obsidian structure that housed the Convergence Chamber, David couldn't help but reflect on the whirlwind of events that had brought him here. The Zarkonian arrival, Earth's desperate bid to prove its worth, and the grueling trials that had earned humanity a tentative place in the galactic community, it all seemed like a fever dream. The chamber doors parted with a whisper, revealing a cavernous space filled with alien dignitaries. At the center stood High Imperatrice Inferior, the supreme leader of the Zarkonian Empire. Her scales shimmered with an otherworldly iridescence, and her 6 eyes fixed upon David with an intensity that made him feel like a specimen under a microscope. "Approach, human," Zixveria's voice reverberated through the chamber. "You stand before the Convergence as the voice of your species. Speak carefully, for the fate of your world hangs upon your words." David took a deep breath, centering himself. He had prepared for this moment, studied every nuance of Zarkonian etiquette and protocol. With fluid grace, he performed the intricate series of gestures that constituted a formal greeting, his body language conveying respect without subservience. "Exalted Imperator," David began, his voice clear and unwavering. "I come before you not as a supplicant, but as a representative of a species eager to prove its worth to the greater galactic community." A murmur rippled through the assembled aliens. David's bold opening was a calculated risk, but one he knew was necessary to capture their attention. "Your kind has shown unexpected potential," Zixveria conceded. "Yet you remain primitive by our standards. What could Earth possibly offer the Empire that we do not already possess?" David's mind raced, knowing his response could make or break humanity's future. "Honored Imperator, it is precisely our primitive nature that makes us valuable. Humanity's greatest strength lies in our adaptability, our ability to thrive in adversity. We see solutions where others see only obstacles." He paused, gauging the reaction of the alien court before continuing. "Moreover, Our cultural diversity brings a wealth of perspectives that could breathe new life into even the most advanced civilizations. Art, music, literature, these are the intangible riches we offer, alongside our determination to learn and grow. The chamber fell silent, all eyes fixed on the lone human who dared to speak of enriching a culture that considered itself the pinnacle of evolution. For a tense moment, David feared he had overstepped. Then, to everyone's shock, High Imperator Sixvaria let out a sound that could only be described as laughter. "Fascinating," she declared. "You are either exceptionally brave or profoundly foolish, Ambassador Chen. Perhaps both. Very well, you have piqued my curiosity. I shall grant you the opportunity to demonstrate this adaptability you speak of." With a wave of her hand, a shimmering hologram appeared in the center of the chamber. It depicted a desolate, storm-racked planet. "Behold Nexus 9, a world rich in resources vital to the Empire. Yet its hostile environment has thwarted all attempts at colonization. If your species can establish a viable outpost on Nexus 9 within one standard solar cycle, we will reconsider Earth's status within the Empire." David's mind reeled at the implications. This was simultaneously an incredible opportunity and a nearly impossible challenge. But he knew humanity had no choice but to rise to the occasion. "We accept your challenge, exalted Imperator," David declared, bowing deeply. "Humanity will prove its worth on Nexus 9 or face the consequences of failure." As he left the convergence chamber, David's mind was already racing with plans. He would need Earth's best and brightest engineers, terraformers, survival specialists. This would be humanity's greatest test, a chance to showcase their ingenuity on a galactic stage. Little did David know that far greater challenges awaited him on Nexus 9, challenges that would push him and his team to the very limits of human endurance and innovation. The fate of Earth hung in the balance, and the eyes of the galaxy were watching. In the weeks that followed, Earth became a hive of frenzied activity. The Nexus 9 mission, dubbed Operation Phoenix, drew volunteers from every nation. Dr. Amelia Zhao, a brilliant climatologist, led the team developing survival suits capable of withstanding the planet's brutal atmosphere. Captain Jamal Okafor, a veteran of Earth's most inhospitable environments, was tasked with training the colonists. As the departure date loomed, David found himself working around the clock, coordinating between Earth's governments and the Zarkonian overseers. The pressure was immense, but he drew strength from the unity he saw emerging among his fellow humans. Old rivalries were set aside in the face of this existential challenge. The day of launch arrived with a mix of trepidation and excitement. David stood before the assembled colonists, a diverse group of 200 individuals chosen to represent the best of humanity. Their faces showed determination tinged with fear, a reflection of David's own emotions. "My friends," he began, his voice carrying across the launch bay. "Today we embark on the most important mission in human history. On Nexus 9, we will face challenges beyond imagination. But remember this, every hardship we endure, every obstacle we overcome, brings us one step closer to securing humanity's place among the stars." A cheer went up from the colonists, their resolve visibly strengthened. As they boarded the Zarkonian transport ships, David felt a surge of pride. Whatever awaited them on Nexus 9, he knew that the human spirit would not be easily broken. The journey to Nexus 9 was mercifully short, thanks to Zarkonian faster-than-light technology. As they approached the storm-shrouded planet, David gathered with the mission leaders for a final briefing. "Our first priority is establishing a base camp capable of withstanding the extreme conditions," Dr. Zhao explained, gesturing to the swirling maelstrom visible through the view screen. "The atmospheric processors will need to be operational within 48 hours, or we won't survive long enough to begin resource extraction." Captain Okafor nodded grimly. "My team will focus on perimeter security. There's no telling what kind of native life forms we might encounter." As the ship began its descent, David felt the weight of responsibility settling heavily on his shoulders. He was no longer just a diplomat. He was the lifeline between this fledgling colony and the fate of Earth itself. The moment the transport doors opened, Nexus 9 unleashed its fury. Howling winds, carrying particles of razor-sharp crystal, assaulted the colonists as they struggled to unload their equipment. The survival suits held, but David could see the strain on everyone's faces. Over the next few days, the true scale of their challenge became apparent. The atmospheric processors struggled against the relentless storms, and strange, silicon-based life forms emerged from the depths, hostile to the alien intruders. But with each setback, humanity's ingenuity shone through. Dr. Zao's team made a breakthrough, using the very crystals that filled the air to amplify the processor's HFY. Captain Okafor discovered that certain harmonics could repel the silicon creatures, leading to the development of a sonic perimeter defense. David found himself in the thick of the action, his diplomatic skills put to the test as he mediated disputes and boosted morale. He worked alongside the colonists, sharing in their hardships and small victories. As the first month drew to a close, the colony had grown from a tenuous foothold to a burgeoning outpost. A biodome now stood against the storms, housing a fledgling farm that promised self-sufficiency. Mining operations had begun, extracting the precious resources that had drawn the Zarkonians to this hellish world. But their troubles were far from over. As David recorded his latest report to the Zarkonian overseers, a tremor shook the base. Alarms blared, and Dr. Zao's voice came over the comm system, tight with tension. "Ambassador Chen, we have a problem. The planet's core, it's unstable. At this rate, Nexus 9 will tear itself apart within months." David's blood ran cold. They had come so far, overcome so much. He refused to let it end like this. "Patch me through to the entire colony," he ordered. As faces appeared on screens throughout the base, David steeled himself. "My friends, we face our greatest challenge yet. But remember why we came here, to prove that humanity can thrive where others falter. Together, we'll find a way to stabilize this world and secure our future among the stars." As determined voices responded with ideas and offers of support, David allowed himself a small smile. The road ahead would be difficult, but he had faith in the resilience of the human spirit. Nexus 9 had not seen the last of them, not by a long shot. The Nexus 9 Gambit, humanity's quantum leap. The howling winds of Nexus 9 carried more than just crystalline shards. They bore the weight of humanity's future. As David Chen stood at the viewport of the colony's command center, his eyes fixed on the turbulent horizon, he couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the precipice of something extraordinary. "Ambassador, you need to see this," Dr. Amelia Zao's voice crackled over the intercom, tinged with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. David hurried to the research lab, his heart racing. The past weeks had been a blur of crisis management and innovative problem-solving as they fought to stabilize the planet's volatile core. What they discovered in the process would change the course of human history. As he entered the lab, David was greeted by a sight that took his breath away. Suspended in a containment field was a pulsating orb of energy, its surface rippling with colors that seemed to defy the visible spectrum. "We're calling it the Nexus Core," Dr. Zao explained, her eyes gleaming with scientific wonder. "It's not just geothermal energy, it's a naturally occurring quantum singularity." Captain Jamal Okafor, who had been overseeing security for the delicate experiments, chimed in. "In layman's terms, Ambassador, we're looking at a potential revolution in energy production, faster than light travel, maybe even manipulation of space-time itself." David's mind reeled at the implications. This changes everything. But can we control it? Dr. Zao's expression turned serious. "That's the challenge. The core is directly linked to the planet's instability. If we can harness its power, we might be able to stabilize Nexus 9 and unlock technological advancements beyond our wildest dreams. If we fail..." "We're not going to fail," David asserted, his voice filled with determination. Assemble the team. It's time to show the galaxy what humans can really do. Over the next days, the colony transformed into a hive of feverish activity. Engineers and physicists worked around the clock, developing technologies that pushed the boundaries of known science. The Zarkonian overseers watched with growing interest, their initial skepticism giving way to grudging respect. As breakthroughs mounted, David found himself not just coordinating efforts, but actively contributing ideas. His unique perspective as a diplomat allowed him to draw unexpected connections, bridging the gap between theoretical science and practical application. The Nexus 9 Gambit, humanity's quantum leap. The howling winds of Nexus 9 carried more than just crystalline shards. They bore the weight of humanity's future. As David Chen stood at the viewport of the colony's command center, his eyes fixed on the turbulent horizon, he couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the precipice of something extraordinary. "Ambassador, you need to see this." Dr. Amelia Zhao's voice crackled over the intercom, tinged with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. David hurried to the research lab, his heart racing. The past weeks had been a blur of crisis management and innovative problem-solving as they fought to stabilize the planet's volatile core. What they discovered in the process would change the course of human history. As he entered the lab, David was greeted by a sight that took his breath away. Suspended in a containment field was a pulsating orb of energy, its surface rippling with colors that seemed to defy the visible spectrum. "We're calling it the Nexus Core," Dr. Zhao explained, her eyes gleaming with scientific wonder. "It's not just geothermal energy, it's a naturally occurring quantum singularity." Captain Jamal Okafor, who had been overseeing security for the delicate experiments, chimed in. "In layman's terms, Ambassador, we're looking at a potential revolution in energy production, faster than light travel, maybe even manipulation of space-time itself." David's mind reeled at the implications. This changes everything. But can we control it? Dr. Zhao's expression turned serious. "That's the challenge. The core is directly linked to the planet's instability. If we can harness its power, we might be able to stabilize Nexus 9 and unlock technological advancements beyond our wildest dreams. If we fail..." "We're not going to fail," David asserted, his voice filled with determination. "Assemble the team. It's time to show the galaxy what humans can really do." Over the next days, the colony transformed into a hive of feverish activity. Engineers and physicists worked around the clock, developing technologies that pushed the boundaries of known science. The Zarkonian overseers watched with growing interest, their initial skepticism giving way to grudging respect. As breakthroughs mounted, David found himself not just coordinating efforts, but actively contributing ideas. His unique perspective as a diplomat allowed him to draw unexpected connections, bridging the gap between theoretical science and practical application. The pivotal moment came when they successfully created a miniature containment field for a fraction of the Nexus Core's energy. The implications were staggering: clean, nearly limitless power that could revolutionize life on Earth and beyond. But their triumph was short-lived. As they prepared to implement their solution to stabilize the planet, alarms blared throughout the colony. The viewing screens flickered to life, showing a massive Zarkonian battlecruiser dropping out of hyperspace above Nexus 9. "This is High Commander Vexilov of the Imperial Fleet," a stern voice boomed through the communications system. "By order of the Imperator, all research on the Nexus Core is to cease immediately. Prepare to evacuate the planet." David's blood ran cold. They were so close to success. He couldn't let it end like this. Making a split-second decision, he opened a channel to the Zarkonian ship. "High Commander," David began, forcing calm into his voice, "I respectfully request a chance to demonstrate what we've achieved here. What we've discovered could benefit not just humanity, but the entire Empire." There was a tense pause before Vexilov responded. "You have one planetary rotation to present your findings, Ambassador. Impress me, or face the consequences." As the communication cut off, David turned to his team. "This is it, everyone. everything we've worked for comes down to the next 24 hours. Let's show them what humanity is truly capable of. What followed was a whirlwind of activity as the colonists prepared their presentation. David worked tirelessly, using every diplomatic skill at his disposal to craft a compelling narrative of their discoveries. When the moment of truth arrived, David stood before a holographic projection of the Zarkonian High Command, the fate of Earth hanging on his words. Esteemed leaders of the Empire, he began, his voice steady and clear. What we've uncovered on Nexus 9 isn't just a new energy source. It's a gateway to understanding the fundamental forces of the universe itself. As David spoke, holographic displays showcased the team's achievements, the containment technology, the potential for revolutionizing space travel, even theoretical applications for healing rifts in space-time. But more than the technology, David continued, his passion evident. We offer a new perspective. Humanity's greatest strength is our ability to look at problems from angles others might never consider. Together, there's no challenge we cannot overcome. As he concluded his presentation, David held his breath. The Zarkonian leaders conferred among themselves, their expressions unreadable. Finally, High Commander Vexloth spoke. Ambassador Chen, your species continues to surprise us. The Empire hereby grants humanity full rights to continue research on Nexus 9 under Zarkonian supervision. Moreover, we extend an invitation for Earth to join the Galactic Council as a probationary member. Cheers erupted throughout the colony as the news spread. David felt a wave of relief and pride wash over him. They had done it. Humanity had secured its place among the stars. But as the celebrations began, David's mind was already racing ahead. This was just the beginning. With the power of the Nexus core and their newfound standing in the galactic community, humanity was poised to make a quantum leap in its evolution. As he gazed out at the now calming storms of Nexus 9, David Chen allowed himself a smile. The future was uncertain, filled with challenges and wonders beyond imagination. But one thing was clear: humanity was ready to face that future head-on, armed with their greatest weapons: ingenuity, adaptability, and an indomitable spirit. The stars beckoned, and Earth would answer the call. Cosmic convergence, the Galactic Nexus Summit. The grand halls of the Zarkonian capital ship, Stellar Apex, buzzed with an unprecedented energy. For the first time in galactic history, representatives from every known sentient species had gathered for the Galactic Nexus Summit. At the heart of this momentous occasion stood David Chen, no longer just Earth's ambassador, but the catalyst for a new era of interstellar cooperation. Welcome, esteemed delegates, David's voice carried across the vast chamber, amplified by technology that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Today, we stand on the threshold of a new age, one where the boundaries between our civilizations dissolve in the face of a greater purpose. The assembled aliens, a kaleidoscope of forms and colors, watched with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. The Zarkonians, once humanity's would-be conquerors, now stood as uneasy allies. The ethereal Lysithians, beings of pure energy, shimmered with interest. Even the notoriously isolationist Voidborn had sent an envoy, their dark matter forms barely visible in the ship's ambient light. David continued, his words carefully chosen to resonate with each species' unique perspective. The Nexus core technology we've developed on Nexus 9 isn't just a source of power. It's a bridge between realities, a key to unlocking the deepest mysteries of our universe. Holographic displays sprang to life around the chamber, showcasing the incredible advancements made possible by the Nexus core. Faster-than-light travel that could cross galaxies in moments. Energy shields capable of withstanding supernovas, even the theoretical possibility of time manipulation. But with great power comes great responsibility. David's tone grew solemn. We stand at a crossroads. We can use this technology to usher in an unprecedented era of peace and prosperity for all, or we risk unleashing forces that could tear the very fabric of space-time apart. A murmur rippled through the crowd. The Voidborn envoy, a being of swirling darkness, spoke in a voice that seemed to echo from the depths of space itself. Why should we trust humans, newcomers to the galactic stage, with such monumental decisions? David had anticipated this question. With a gesture, he activated a hidden protocol in his neural interface. Suddenly, the entire chamber was plunged into a hyper-realistic simulation of Earth's history. The assembled aliens watched in awe as humanity's story unfolded before them, the triumphs and tragedies, the relentless drive to explore and understand. They witnessed the near-extinction events humans had overcome, the way they had risen from the ashes of their own destructive tendencies time and time again. "We are not perfect," David acknowledged as the simulation faded. "But it is precisely our imperfections, our struggles, that make us uniquely qualified to shepherd this new technology. We understand the consequences of power misused, and we have learned from our mistakes." The Lysithian representative, a being of pure light, pulsed with what seemed to be approval. "The humans speak truth. Their journey echoes the early days of our own evolution. Perhaps they are the bridge we have long sought between the physical and energy realms." As discussions intensified, David found himself mediating between species with wildly different physiologies and cultural norms. His years of diplomatic training were pushed to their limits, but he rose to the challenge, finding common ground where none seemed possible. Hours turned into days as the summit progressed. Debates raged, alliances shifted, and slowly but surely, a framework for galactic cooperation began to take shape. On the final day, as David prepared to present the proposed galactic concordat, an alarm blared through the stellar apex. The ship's AI announced in multiple languages, "Anomaly detected. Unknown entity approaching at translight speeds." The chamber erupted in chaos. David's voice cut through the panic. "Everyone, remain calm. This is why we've come together, to face the unknown as a united front." As discussions intensified, David found himself mediating between species with wildly different physiologies and cultural norms. His years of diplomatic training were pushed to their limits, but he rose to the challenge, finding common ground where none seemed possible. Hours turned into days as the summit progressed. Debates raged, alliances shifted, and slowly but surely, a framework for galactic cooperation began to take shape. On the final day, as David prepared to present the proposed galactic concordat, an alarm blared through the stellar apex. The ship's AI announced in multiple languages, "Anomaly detected. Unknown entity approaching at translight speeds." The chamber erupted in chaos. David's voice cut through the panic. "Everyone, remain calm. This is why we've come together, to face the unknown as a united front." As if in response to his words, a blinding light filled the chamber. When it faded, a being unlike any they had ever encountered stood before them. It appeared to shift between forms, at once humanoid, crystalline, and energy-based. "I am the Nexus incarnate," it spoke, its voice resonating on multiple levels of reality. "You stand at the cusp of a great transition. The choices you make here will determine the fate of not just your galaxy, but countless others across the multiverse." David stepped forward, his heart pounding but his resolve unshakable. "We are ready to face this challenge together. United, we represent the best of what sentient life can achieve." The Nexus incarnate seemed to smile, though it was hard to tell with its ever-shifting form. "Then let the true test begin. You will face trials that will push you to the very limits of your potential. Succeed, and you will usher in a new age of cosmic enlightenment. Fail, and the consequences will echo across realities." As the being vanished, leaving behind a shimmering portal, David turned to the assembled delegates. "This is what we've prepared for. Every challenge we faced, every alliance we forged, it's all led to this moment. Who will stand with humanity as we take this leap into the unknown?" One by one, representatives from each species stepped forward. The Zarkonians, the Lysithians, the Voidborn, even ancient races that had long retreated from galactic affairs emerged from hiding to join the cause. David Chen, the once ordinary human who had become the linchpin of galactic unity, took a deep breath. As he led the newly formed alliance towards the portal, he couldn't help but smile. Whatever lay beyond, whatever cosmic trials awaited them, he knew that together, they could face anything the universe might throw their way. The age of isolation was over. The era of cosmic convergence had begun. Echoes of eternity, the multiversal crucible. The shimmering portal pulsed with energies beyond comprehension as David Chen led the United Galactic Alliance into the unknown. As they stepped through, reality itself seemed to fracture and reassemble around them. When the disorientation subsided, they found themselves in a realm that defied description, a nexus point where countless universes converged. Welcome to the multiversal crucible, the voice of the Nexus incarnate echoed from everywhere and nowhere. Here, the fate of all realities will be decided. Before them stretched an impossible landscape, fragments of different worlds and timelines colliding and merging. Crystalline structures pulsed with living energy, while rivers of pure thought flowed through the air. In the distance, they could see other groups of beings, representatives from alternate realities, each facing their own trials. Transcendent trials await, the Nexus incarnate continued. You must prove yourselves worthy of wielding the power to shape reality itself. David turned to his diverse team, a Zarkonian warrior, a Lysithian energy being, a void-born shadow manipulator, and others from across the galaxy. Remember why we're here, he said, his voice steady despite the mind-bending surroundings. Our differences are our strength. Together, we can overcome anything. The first challenge materialized before them, a series of quantum puzzles that required simultaneous solving across multiple dimensions. The Lysithian's mastery of energy patterns proved crucial, while the Voidborn's ability to perceive hidden realities unlocked new solutions. David found his role evolving beyond diplomat to become a nexus of ideas, bridging concepts between species in ways that birthed entirely new forms of problem-solving. As they progressed, their actions began to resonate across the multiverse, ripples of their choices influencing countless realities. The second trial thrust them into a simulated war between parallel versions of their own civilizations. Here, David's diplomatic skills shone as he negotiated peace not just between species, but between alternate versions of those species. The Zarkonian warrior, once driven by conquest, now became an architect of harmony. As they faced each challenge, the team's synergy grew stronger. They learned to communicate on levels that transcended language, tapping into a cosmic consciousness that connected all sentient beings across the multiverse. The final test, however, pushed them to their absolute limits. They found themselves confronted by shadowy versions of themselves, embodiments of their deepest fears and darkest potentials. To master reality, the Nexus incarnate's voice resonated, you must first master yourselves. David stared into the eyes of his shadow self, seeing the path he might have taken, a bitter, power-hungry tyrant who would sacrifice anything for control. With a deep breath, he stepped forward, not to fight, but to embrace. I accept you, David said, as a part of me, but I choose a different path. Around him, his allies faced their own demons. The Zarkonian confronted its legacy of violence, the Lysithian grappled with the temptation of godhood, the Voidborn faced the allure of cosmic annihilation. One by one, they overcame not through conflict, but through understanding and integration. As the last shadow was embraced, a blinding light engulfed the crucible. When it faded, they found themselves changed. They had transcended their physical forms, becoming beings of pure consciousness and limitless potential. The barriers between species, between universes, had dissolved. The Nexus incarnate appeared before them, its form now recognizable as a reflection of their united selves. You have proven yourselves worthy, it said, its voice a chorus of all creation. The power to shape reality is yours. How will you use it? David, or the being that had once been David, felt the weight of infinite possibilities. He reached out, not with hands, but with the very essence of his being, connecting with his team and with all sentient life across the multiverse. In that moment of cosmic unity, a new understanding dawned. They saw the intricate web of cause and effect that bound all realities together. They realized that true power lay not in controlling this cosmic dance, but in becoming one with it. With a thought that resonated across eternity, they made their choice. Instead of reshaping reality to their will, they became its guardians and nurturers. They seeded the multiverse with the knowledge and wisdom they had gained, creating a cosmic network of enlightenment that would guide countless civilizations towards harmony and transcendence. As they prepared to return to their own reality, forever changed, David felt a profound sense of peace. They had faced the ultimate trial and emerged not as conquerors, but as shepherds of a new cosmic age. The being that had once been David Chen turned to his team, their forms now infinite and ever-changing. "Our journey is far from over," he said, his words rippling through the fabric of reality itself. "In fact, it's only just begun." With that, they stepped back through the portal, returning to a galaxy forever transformed by their cosmic odyssey. The age of isolation was over. The era of multiversal harmony had dawned. As news of their transcendence spread across the galaxy, a new chapter in the history of all sentient life began to unfold. Earth, once a backwater planet, now stood at the forefront of a cosmic renaissance. The legacy of humanity's adaptability and unbreakable spirit had not only secured their place among the stars, but had reshaped the very nature of existence itself. The story of David Chen and the Galactic Alliance would be told across countless worlds and realities, inspiring generations to reach for the stars and beyond. For in the end, they had proven that the greatest power in the universe was not domination or control, but understanding, unity, and the indomitable will to evolve. And so, the cosmic dance continued, with humanity and their allies now an integral part of its eternal rhythm, forever changing the melody of the universe.